I don't know, Chad. I'm not smart enough, but it seemed to me that the USFL pretty successful. Need more people in the stands, right? But what was the vibe?
It was really strong. I was actually surprisingly impressed the other way with the crowd in attendance. I had very low expectations for people actually coming out and watching the games because this is very much a made for television product, right? This is done by Fox. The league is owned by Fox, and it is made to bridge the gap during a time of year where they need good product on television, and that's what they're trying to accomplish with the USFL. So look, I think all things considered, it was very successful. The attendance was good in week one. I don't think they're going to have attendance like that, up until maybe the championship when they go to Canton from here on out. But all in all, I thought it was a success. I would say the level of play, Dan, watching it and being there live, it's definitely not NFL caliber. It looked like a good college game. The speed of it, the players physically, it looked like you're watching a college football game when you were there in the building. So yeah, I was very impressed.
One of the things, one of the things about a new league is when something happens, it gets glorified, right? So, all right, the Tampa Bay Pittsburgh game, it's been rescheduled. It's tonight. It's 7:00 Eastern on Fox. Fans having tickets to Sunday's games can attend, but just show your ticket. And a couple, plays that were crazy. But hell, I watched Carson Wentz throw one left-handed out of the end zone for a touchdown for the other team. When you mentioned the play, let me go from the speed to the organization. This hasn't been this is the first games, crying out loud. How was the organization of the teams?
I thought it was, again, I was impressed with it because you're right. They've had a very truncated training camp. They haven't had a lot of time together in meeting rooms and practice. We talked with Jeff Fisher and Todd Haley and Larry Fedora on Outkick the Tailgate, man, and they were joking about, getting with the other coaches at the Sheridan and trading for meeting room space. I'll give you Magnolia Room B for Camellia 3 at this time if you can let our defensive players get there and meet. So, I mean, that's part of the deal right now, and these coaches know it, is you're all right there living together in one of two hotels, and they're trying to get meeting room time. They're trying to get actual practice field time together. So when you put all those factors in, I think that it's a terrific job of organization. You could hear the coaches with the play calls, which when they're giving those play calls, it means nothing to the layman watching the game. You don't know exactly what's coming when they're saying the play call. But I thought that first play of the game where Mike Riley dialed up the deep pass and hit on the deep pass, I thought that was really important for the league. Because if you botch the execution of that, not just completing it, but if it looks like you got a bunch of guys running around, no idea what the play was or what to do, it would have had a bad first impression on the league. But with that play working and being organized, I thought was a nice surprise early on for the league. And it was a great first game. It had a little bit of everything because it started out fast offensively. There was a bit of a lull, and then it ended very fast offensively with a thrilling conclusion. So I thought it was great.
TV numbers were good too. I mean, 3 million watched the games, which is more than a number of, mainstream, I guess you'd call it, sports, NBA games. So is this sustainable? When you watch this, you think to yourself, all right, this is going to improve the entire thing, whether it's TV, whether it's attendance, whether it's the play, or is this something like, hey, man, I don't know. Where are you at with the sustainability?
I think it's sustainable. And I think it's sustainable for this reason. Fox is not going in with the expectation of the 80s USFL. The 80s USFL, with Donald Trump as an owner and everyone else, they were in there to compete with the NFL. They wanted to take NFL players, and they were successful in doing so. They were spending a ton of money. Think about the players in that USFL with Jim Kelly and Steve Young and Herschel Walker. Go down the list. They were robbing the NFL of some top talent and trying to compete. The USFL, owned by Fox, backed by Fox, who is a partner of the NFL, they know where they are. They're not trying to compete with the NFL. This is very much a sort of a AAA type organization for the NFL. And the thought process is people can't get enough of football, so let's give them more football. Let's give them football starting Easter weekend and take it through 4th of July and see what happens. And I think people will watch. The ability to bet on the games helps. And I was one of the people who did that at FanDuel. That's going to help them. But this time period, I think starting Easter, going to July 4th is important. I don't think the TV number is ever going to be better than it was Saturday night. So I think we just saw the ceiling for it at 3.5 million at the end of that game with ratings. I think they'll have a good number for the championship game when we get to the 4th of July weekend for that. I think the key now, Dan, is from a ratings perspective, there's going to be a drop-off for week 2. That happens with everything that's new in every league. The key is not having a second big drop-off from week 2 to week 3. So if you can sustain that week 2 audience throughout the league and into week 3, I think you're on to something, and this league has a real shot. It's going to survive this season because the backing and everything put into it, but surviving multiple seasons, I really think that week 2 to week 3 number is going to be important to monitor to see if they can do that.